Hey, what's up, everybody? My name's Gene Boykin. I'm the founder of the GoGetter Family Real Estate Investing Academy. And tonight, I'm here to talk to you, excuse me, on this beautiful Sunday evening on the eve of Memorial Day, because in the real estate investing world, especially, the way that we do it by becoming the bank, taking over the existing financing subject to and creative financing, not needing a lump sum of money out of our own pocket. And we're not going to banks to fill out credit applications and qualify for debt, show W 2s, using realtors, going through inspections, that traditional way. That's not the world we live in. But you have to protect yourself. CYA, cover your assets. You know what I mean? So we do that on a high level. So tonight, I'm here to talk to you about our deal insurance document. And for Memorial Day, I'm going to be giving that away for free to you guys. There's actually going to be a link in the description so that you can download that document, and it's yours. It will protect you. That document is super powerful, and it's only a one-page document. So I appreciate you guys joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button, get us in that algorithm so that we can get this game out to the people, man. Get some of this wealth back to the people. You guys know the mission of my channel, of the Go-Getter Family Real Estate Investing Academy, is to give you guys actionable knowledge that you need to get started in real estate and to do real estate the right way, not needing that lump sum of money or credit checks. All right. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. And if you feel like I bring you some value and you are new to my channel, I would appreciate it if you subscribed. But I'll be back in a moment.
I'm a go-getter. They some go-getters. We some go-getters. Hope you a go-getter. Let's get it. I'm a go-getter. They some go-getters. We some go-getters. Hope you a go-getter. Let's get it. I'm a go-getter. Hustle to the end. We some no-quitters. Knock it out the park. We for show hitters. Right, left hemisphere. That's a dome splitter. Yeah. We control our own destiny. Make moves. Cultivate whole legacy. Creative finance. Bring more ecstasy. The right ingredients. Now that's a dope recipe.
All right. What's up, y'all? This beautiful Sunday evening. So, I'm here tonight again to talk to you about our deal insurance document covering your assets, man. You got to cover your assets because integrity, that's hard to come by nowadays. So, imagine this. You worked hard. You overcame your fears. You knew that real estate investing was the game for you, man, was the thing that was going to get you wealth, get you financial freedom, man. Just give you control of your life. So you step out, you take action, man. You're out prospecting, you're talking to leads, you're cold calling, you're door knocking, and it happens. It happens. Somebody finally says, yes, I'll do it. I will sell you my house. Whether it's a wholesale transaction or it's a subject to or creative financing transaction where they're going to let you take over their existing mortgage, right? They say yes, finally. And they sign the documents. You get them notarized, right? Your purchase and sale agreement. Take it to the title company, or you record it if you use one of our 38 ways of doing a transaction, whatever that is. And before you close on that deal, right? You give yourself 30 days to close. And while you're going through your inspection period, you're running your numbers, you're finding contractors, you're even finding buyers so that you don't have to use your own money. Well, your seller, they're not answering their phone. They're not returning your text all of a sudden. And you're thinking to yourself, what the hell is going on? Like what? Like you're confused because you were going to help these people and they signed a contract. But now they're not answering, and it's getting closer to the closing day. And you got to go to the closing table. You've invested time. You've invested a little bit of money, whether it's just running around and it's gas money, man, whatever it is, you've invested some. And you've invested your energy. And you get to the closing table and they don't show up. They don't show up. The reason why is another investor came in behind you, whether it's a wholesaler or whatever it is, and they offered that person a little bit more money. I've heard of this happening for $500 more than what the other person offered them, where they said, I don't care if I'm under contract with them. I'm about to get some more money. So I'm just going to cut them off. I'm not answering their calls or anything. And they end up selling that house to another investor. Well, guess what? If you haven't filled out the correct documents, there is something you can do, right? You can take them to court, but do you got money for a lawyer? Do you have years to wait to go through the court system? I mean, who does that, right? So there's really nothing you can do. Well, not with the Go-Getter family. With the Go-Getter family, we use our deal insurance document. It's called a memorandum of contract. Memorandum of contract, guys. That is your deal insurance. It will protect you. It will protect you. All right. So that's what I'm here to talk to you guys about tonight. And I'm going to give you guys some stories. I'm going to give you guys some horror stories, but then I'm going to give you guys a couple of stories where a couple of my colleagues and myself turned out to be winners in this situation. That document is super powerful. And guess what? It's only a one-page document. All right. So, guys, I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight over this holiday weekend. I'm going to talk about it a bit tonight, but then I'm going to also discuss this a little bit tomorrow, along with some other things, because I'm going to give you guys this document for free. All right. There's a link in the description of the video. All right. Go in the description, click the link, and you just put in your name, your email address, and we're going to email you the contract. It's yours. You can have it. Don't cost you a thing, man. You know, I got to look out for my people, man. I got to look out for my people. So again, if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you feel like I bring you some value, think about subscribing. All right. Um, so, so this document, a couple, my mentors, man, one of my mentors, he has a video, um, of him going to the title company, getting a $7,000 check because of this document, getting a $7,000 check. I got another colleague I just did a video with the other couple of weeks ago. He got a $30,000 check because a seller backed out of their deal and then went and tried to sell it to somebody else. All right. So let me break this down for you. And then I'm actually going to go over that document with you guys so that you can see. It's only a one-page document, man. And it's simple too, man. But it's super powerful. All right. If you guys have questions, I'm going to do like I always do, man. I'm going to give y'all the game. I'm going to answer questions on the second half of the show. But first, I want to talk to you guys about something, man. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I've been going through it a little bit lately, y'all. I've been going through it. I'm gonna tell you why. Have you guys ever seen that Netflix series with Michael Jordan, Save the Last Dance, where it talks about all the championships that he won and the things that he went through to get there? And dude, Michael Jordan went through hell, man. That's why I got a picture in the back. You see that picture in my background? Michael Jordan sitting by his 6 championships, man. Six championship trophies. Well, on that Netflix series, right? It showed, man, the pain, the suffering, the torturing that Michael Jordan went through, not only because he got cut from his high school team or when he got to the Bulls, he killed it his rookie year. And then I think it was like his second or third season, he ended up getting injured. He had to sit out most of the season. And then it was back in the 80s when the Pistons, Detroit Pistons, Boston Celtics, and the Los Angeles Lakers were the top dogs, man. They had legends on their team, just straight Hall of Famers, man. A handful on each team, too. So he had to go up against them. So Michael Jordan, man, he was killing it. He's carrying his team. He didn't really have a good team around him in the beginning, right? So it was hard for him, man, because he competes. He wants to win. He's going to give his all. So it was breaking his heart to lose. So they brought in some players. Hey, Reverend Mosley, what's happening, man? It's good to see you on here. Good to see you on here. So they brought in some players for Michael Jordan to kind of help him, man, give him some assistance. He couldn't do it all. So they started to win a little bit, which it was, man, he was feeling better. You know what I mean? But there was those gatekeepers, the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference. So he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, man, after they got him a few more players. But he's working hard every day, man, every day. They said that Michael Jordan was like a tyrant in practice. Like he was a tyrant. If you weren't there early or staying late, if you weren't diving for balls, like he would cuss you out. He would try to punk you. He even punched a couple of his teammates, all that, right? So check this out. He gets up to the Pistons, man, and the Pistons just stand on him, man. They beat him up. and they were rough on them. And they did that for about 3 years straight, man. And then they finally got past the Pistons. Boom. They beat them. They beat the Pistons for the Eastern Conference Finals. They got to the championship. Man, who did they play? I believe they played the Lakers. And I believe they lost that first one. You know what I mean? And Michael Jordan was crushed again. Michael Jordan was crushed again. And throughout that whole thing, right, there were teammates that came and then they went. You know what I mean? And some were there before Michael, and they ended up leaving the team, right? Because they were like, man, Michael's too hard on us, man. Michael's an asshole. You know what I mean? I can't do it with Mike on the team, man. Michael Jordan this, Michael Jordan that, and it was all bad things. Because he was so hard on them, and he was hard on himself because he wanted to win. He wanted to be the best. No, he didn't want to. He had to. He had to be the best. And he was going to give everything that he had. Everything. It didn't even matter, man. He was going to stay in the gym all night, man. It didn't matter. Come practice early, stay late. But if he's doing this and he's the best player, he wasn't going to accept that out of his teammates, right? So there were the teammates, right, that left before Michael Jordan started winning all those championships. These teammates, they left. And what happened was those teammates that left, guess what happened to them in their careers? They ended up being mediocre. They ended up being mediocre. They didn't win any championships. And then they were on the outside looking in when Michael Jordan took the Bulls on those two separate 3 championship runs, right? They were on the outside looking in. But then the teammates that were there, right? I remember Steve Kerr, who's the coach of the Golden State Warriors right now, man, and they're killing it. They're playing in the finals this year. Steve Kerr was Michael Jordan's teammate for 3 of those championships. And don't you know that Michael Jordan and Steve Kerr fought each other? They literally got in a physical fight. And that's what Steve Kerr said. Steve Kerr was like, man, Michael Jordan was a tyrant at times. Like, he was just an asshole at times, man. Like, I don't even know what was up with him. And he was like, it was hard to play with him. It was super hard. And then he said this, though. He said, but without Michael Jordan, without being on Michael Jordan's team, one, I would have never had the experience that I had. I would have never won those championships. I would have never got a chance to play in those moments on the big stage when everything was on the line. I would have never got that opportunity. I would have never got that opportunity to hit the game-winning shot. And Michael Jordan passed me the ball for the game-winning shot, man. With time running out, Michael passed me the ball. He passed it to me because he trusted me. And guess what? I shot it and I made it. And this was after we got in our fight. He said, if it wasn't for Michael Jordan, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, this moment. Because not only did Michael Jordan push himself to be the best, he pushed the people around him to be the best. He got on that basketball court, and for Michael, it was like you were going to war. It was live or die, man. On that basketball court, you were going to war. But guess what? Michael was going to go to war with you. He was going to go to war with you. He would jump on that grenade for you. So I said that to say, you know, some of his teammates were like, man, I can't do it with Mike, man. He's too much. He pushes me way too hard. And they left, or they got traded away. And they got traded away into obscurity. People don't even remember them because they couldn't take it, man. They couldn't take it. They didn't want it bad enough. They just didn't want it bad enough. And that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. There isn't. They just didn't want it bad enough. But for those that did, that hung around, man, and dealt with him pushing them to their limits, they lived a life that they never even imagined. And they brought out talents that they never imagined. Nick, it definitely is a real estate show, brother. Believe it. They brought out talents that they never even imagined. For people like Nick. Nick, this is something you probably had to hear tonight, man. I hope you don't leave this episode, man. So anyway, I'm having difficulties right now, man, because my team, I push them hard, man, to be the best. We're out here buying free houses. I own 6 houses, done 7 transactions. I've helped people all around the country to change their lives, man. People that have lost money paying these mentors and these gurus tens of thousands of dollars to teach them, and they're learning the wrong things, having to cancel contracts, things like that. Then they come to the GoGetter family, end up getting deals by becoming the bank. Got the ladies in St. Louis a $18,000 check after they had lost $10,000 on a wholesaling mentorship. But it was because those ladies had what Michael Jordan had in him. They were going to succeed no matter what, no matter what, no matter the effort they had to put in, the work they had to put in. And this is for people like Nick, who just made that comment, thought this was a real estate show, LOL, right? Well, guess what? See, the thing is, truth is universal, right? Truth is universal. So if you want to get into real estate investing, Nick, or if you're in real estate investing and you want to be better, you have to face adversity. You're going to face adversity. And you got to find it within yourself to get through that adversity, because on the other side of that adversity is what you're looking for. But success is going to test you. Success is going to test you to see if you have the will to win. Like Trent said, if you have the will to win. And if you do, man, life is great on the other side of adversity. So that's the situation that I'm in right now, man. I was pissed off on Friday. I'm not even gonna lie. My team, some of them, they were doing the bare minimum, man, in my eyes. And I was to the point, I was like, you know what? I don't even give a fuck. You can maybe stay, but you can go if you want to go. I don't care. Because one thing about me, I'm gonna get to where I'm going. And this is a movement, man. It's not a moment. So the thing with me is if you're with me, hey, you're gonna be everywhere with me when we get all the way to the top, because we getting up there now. But when we get all the way to the top, I'm gonna bring you with me. But you got to put in that work, man. You got to put in that work, just like I am. I would not accept the bare minimum from myself. And if you want to be successful in real estate, in this strategy, you have to put in that work, man. You got to put in that work. So for those of you that could bear with me through that story, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. But that shit means something, man. Believe it or not, because those that have success, they've made it through that adversity, and they do not accept the bare minimum out of themselves. They will not accept being mediocre. They just won't accept it. But you got to put in that work, those sacrifices, man. Just like me, I'm on here right now, man, on a Sunday night. I hear my daughter's footsteps upstairs right now. I could be kicking it with her, man. But I'm going to give y'all some game, man, because I want to succeed, but I want to get other people to their goals. So tonight, again, what we're talking about is deal insurance, the memorandum of contract. All right. So I'm going to tell you a quick story about one of my mentors. His name is Chris Haskins. He has a video where he is cashing a $7,000 check at the title company because of this memorandum of contract. So he got a deal under contract where a person said, okay, I'll sell you my house. They agreed on a price. They signed the purchase agreement, signed the proper documents. And when it was getting closer to close, these people weren't answering their phone. They weren't answering their text messages, right? Or they weren't answering his text messages. So he's like, what the hell, And when we get a house under contract, we're out preparing for to close that transaction, whether it's marketing that deal so we can sell it, right? If it's a wholesale deal, or if we're buying materials because we're going to fix it up a little bit and rent it out or sell it, put it on the market, whatever we're going to do. So we spent money, we spent time, effort, and energy, right? And he protected himself. He filled out the deal insurance document, the memorandum of contract. It's a 1-page document. And what you do is you and your seller sign that document. And once it's signed and notarized, it has to be notarized. You take it down to the recorder's office and you record it. And what it does is it clouds the title to that house. So like, how a lien, you cannot pass clean title with a lien on the property. A title company will not transfer that deed with that lien on there. Well, the memorandum of contract, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. A title company, when they go to do that transaction and transfer that deed over, they're going to do a title search to see if anybody has any financial interest in this property, right? When they do that title search, guess whose name's going to pop up? Like a jack in the box. You like, bang, yeah, I'm right here. So the title company or the attorney does that title search. And this is what happened with my mentor. He got that house under contract. Well, the seller stopped answering their phone. And it was because somebody came in after him, another investor, and offered that seller $1,000 more than what he had offered them. And they accepted that. They signed a contract with them. And the crazy part is the investors, they probably didn't even know that the seller was under contract with somebody else. They probably didn't even know that seller had signed a contract with another investor. So they're thinking, hey, it's on, So now that other investor is getting their stuff prepared because they're about to go to the closing table. So they get to the closing table, and it's 2 days before they were going to close. And the title company looks at that deed and they're like, whoa, this deed's clouded. So this person has a stake in this property. So they had to call them. They called my mentor and they were like, hey, it looks like you have this title clouded. Will you release this for us? And he says, well, what's the address? They give him the address and he's like, oh yeah, they were supposed to sell that house to me and they stopped answering the phone. What's going on? So they told him, the title company told him, well, they're actually selling it to somebody else. So they were going to sell it to you? And he's like, yeah, that's why my name came up with this memorandum of contract. And they're like, well, they're going to be closing here soon. So we need you to release this deed so that we can transfer it to the new buyer. And he says, yeah, I'll release it. And they're like, oh, okay, great. He's like, yeah, my release fee is $7,000. And they're like, what? He's like, yeah, it's $7,000 release fee for me to remove that cloud from the title. So what the title company does is they're like, okay, well, the title company's just, they're the middle person there. So they've got no stake in it either way. So they're not like trying to convince him or anything, trying to persuade him. They're just like, okay, let us call the seller and the buyer and see what we can do. And then we'll call you back. So the title company gets a hold of the other two sides, right? The seller. And now I guess the seller's, telling them what's going on. You know what I mean? At first they tried to act like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is that? Right? They're trying to act oblivious to, like they don't know what's going on. Whole time they knew they signed a contract. So since the buyer was so close to, moving, they had already sold their other house and everything. And then this happened with another colleague of mine who got a $30,000 check, 30 grand. It's powerful, man. So anyway, they agreed to the terms and they went through with the transaction. And then what happens is the title company takes that 7,000 out of that transaction, out of the money for that transaction, and they cut a check for my mentor. So he goes down to the title company, picks up the 7 grand. Boom. Just like that, 7 grand. So that way, see what that deal insurance does? That way you're not out any money, man. You put your time into this, your effort. You may have bought materials. You may have even started, you may have fixed a couple of things. Who knows? And there are a lot of people that do this. I was just talking to a new student of mine today, man, who just signed up today. And he works for a wholesaling company, cold calling. He's the acquisitions manager. And he was telling me about a house that he got under contract. And I asked him, I was like, well, do you guys sign the memorandum? Do you guys fill out a memorandum? He's like, no, what is that? And I was like, oh, so if somebody, another investor comes behind you and offers more, the seller still has to, you're protected. You will get paid if they get under contract with somebody else. He's like, no, they can't do that. I was like, well, think about it like this. What are you going to do if they do that? What would you do? Take them to court? I mean, you're going to be tied up in court for years, and then you got to pay your lawyer. So is it even worth it at that point? He's like, oh, you're right. I'm like, dude, this 1-page document, it is a killer, man. It's a killer. It's so strong. I didn't even know this about it either. It clouds that title fully. You actually have to deed to release it. You have to quit claim deed that property back to the seller. You have to quit claim deed it back to the seller, even though there was never a deed transfer in the first place. You just signed the contract, a purchase agreement, and then you signed that memorandum and you recorded that memorandum. So I do that on all of my deals, man. All of my deals. I'm gonna actually go over this document with you guys tonight, so that I'm gonna give it to you for free. It's in a link. There's a link in the description. There's a link in the description. Just click that link and boom, put your name and stuff in, and we'll email it to you. Put your name, your email address in there. We will email that to you. Um, all that said, let's go over this document here real quick. Also, I fill this out on every transaction. So I owned a house, man. I don't own it anymore because I was selling it on terms. So I bought it, and I bought it on contract, and then I assigned that contract, and my buyer was making monthly payments to me. Well, they refinanced it through the bank, and they paid me the balloon payment that they owed me. So while we're doing the transaction, I get an email from the banker, and she's like, "Well, why are you on the deed?" And I was like, I'm not on the deed. I don't even know. What do you mean? I'm not on the deed." And I was like, "Oh, we filled out a memorandum of contract. That might be it." And she's like, "Okay, let me email you back." Because she was talking to their closing attorney. And she gets an email from the closing attorney saying that I needed to quit claim deed that property back to the original owner so that they could finish doing the transaction because of that memorandum of contract. And I had to put specific language in that quit claim deed. I was like, "What? Whoa, this thing is powerful." So, and it's only a one-page document. So for those of you that are just popping in, my name's Gene Boykin. I'm the founder of the GoGetter Family Real Estate Investing Academy, where I teach people to invest in real estate with little to no money out of their own pocket and no credit checks. You're not going filling out credit applications, qualifying for debt, showing W-2s, any of that. Purpose of this channel is to give you the actionable knowledge that you need to close transactions. So tonight we're talking about that memorandum of contract, and down in the description below, there's a link. Click that link. I'm giving you guys that contract for Memorial Day. So let's go over this just real quick here so you guys can check it out. It's super simple, man. I'm going to share my screen with you. Boom. Here it is. Love it. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so the memorandum of contract. Now remember, guys, with the GoGetter family, all of our documents are standard. Everything's standard. And that is it's just a little psychological thing for the sellers, right? We tell them, yeah, we just need you to sign the standard, standard information release form or the standard purchase agreement. Well, it's standard, Mr. Seller. We do this all the time. This isn't anything unusual. It's standard, right? So it's just these little things, man, they matter. So your memorandum of contract. It's super simple. This memorandum of contract entered into on, boom, you put the date, by, and between, boom. So this is going to be, let me see, by and between your seller. Put your seller here, and then you put whose address is, you put the address herein after referred to as seller, and then you put either your name or your company name, right? And you as agent. Okay, so be your company name and then your name as agent. Buyer, whose business address is, put your business address, boom, here and after referred to as buyer. Witnesses, well, I don't even know how to say that, dude. Witness Seth. So it's one paragraph. And that one paragraph gives you complete and utter control of that property. The buyer and seller have entered into a contract herewith, and they desire to enter this memorandum of contract to give record of the existence of the said contract. In consideration of the property and other good and valuable consideration, the seller acknowledges and agrees that the property described below is to be sold to the buyer. So it's putting the world on notice that you're buying this property. And now, not only is it putting the world on notice, it is clouding that title so that it cannot be sold to somebody else. and that's it. And you date it, boom, said property being located at, put that address, the parcel number, and then boom, print that seller name, seller signature, print your name, and then your signature, and then get it notarized. Now, it is imperative though. Once you get that document notarized, once that document is notarized, you have to record that document. You have got to record it. If you just have that thing signed and notarized, it does you no good. It does you no good. If it is not recorded and on public record, it doesn't even matter. You could cry about it all you want to. It doesn't mean anything. So you take it down to the recorder's office and you record it. And it only costs you like $10 to record a document. So, hey, that thing goes super hard. One of my colleagues, right? He was in a deal. He had got it under contract, and so they agreed to sell it to him. And he was going to make a decent amount on this house. So then he gets a call back from the seller, and the seller says to him, "Hey, I don't really feel like buying or selling my property anymore. I just want to keep it. I don't want to sell it." And we're not going to force a person to sell their house to us. All right. You got to think about it like this. Okay. We're not going to force a person to sell us their house. So just like my colleague did when the lady called him and said, "Hey, I don't want to sell my house anymore. I just don't want to sell it at all. I just want to keep it." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm not going to force you to sell me your house." So he's like, "Yeah, chilling. I forgot all about it." And it had to have been, what do you say, about 3 months later. About 3 months later. So he's out doing his thing, whatever, investing, buying other properties. He owns multiple businesses. He gets a call from a lawyer, and the lawyer's like, "Hey, you have this deed clouded. Can you release it for us?" And he asked him, he's like, "Well, what's the address?" And they told him, and he's like, "Wait, what?" He's like, "What do you mean? I was gonna buy this house, so that's why it's cloud. That's why the deed's clouded. But what's going on?" He's like, "Wait, you were gonna buy the house?" This is what the lawyer said. "You were gonna buy the house?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, apparently they got it listed with a realtor. They signed a listing agreement with a realtor, and they got it under contract, and they're about to close on it." So his seller went out, and she called him and told him she didn't want to sell it anymore. She was going to keep it. But what she really did was she hung up with him and got on the phone with the realtor. So what my colleague told me that like her daughter or somebody got in her ear and was like, "You can get way more money for the house than that. You can get way more money than that for the house." So then, you know, she called him and, told him she didn't want to sell it. She lists it with the realtor. Realtor puts it on the market, that gets it under contract, it goes through the underwriting period and everything. So now though, the buyer who made the offer, the buyers put all of their belongings into storage, right? Because now they're making their moves on the back end. So this is how you'll get that big release fee, because now everybody's got plans for this transaction. So your sellers, planning on spending the money, however, and then the buyer of the property, if they're going to live there, they've maybe sold their house and they've got somebody moving into their old house now while they're about to move into their new house. And that's what happened here. Man, guess how much money he got? Oh my God, dude. He got a $30,000 check. 30,000. And they had no problem cutting him that check, man, because there were so many parties involved in that deal and there was just so much shit going on. So I know, man, right? Hey, I got my patch on though, Charles. Boop. Oh, you can't even really see it. Yeah, I got my patch. I'm about to quit, homie. I'm trying. So anyway, he got a $30,000 check on that. 30,000. So when this is what we do when we are getting that document signed, and if they ask what it is, if the seller asks what it is, I just tell them, "Hey, this is just a document that pretty much just says we are who we say we are. That's all. Just we are who we say we are." And they're just like, "Oh, okay," And it is really, it's about your integrity. You said you were going to sell this home. You said you were going to sell this home. So you went under contract. You signed a contract with me to sell this property. So that's what we're doing. And I'm just protecting myself and protecting my assets. So I'm just protecting myself and protecting my assets. You know what I mean? Um, with that said, you got to protect yourself on every deal. So I had one of my mentors on my YouTube channel to do an interview, and he was in court earlier that day. He was in court earlier that day, right? And he's like, "Man, I'm tired today. I was in court." I was like, "Okay, well, we can make the interview short, you know." I was like, "We don't have to really touch on that if you don't want to. I know it's draining energy from you or whatever." And and he's like, "No, we can talk about it." And I was like, "Yeah." Well, I was like, "There probably ain't much to talk about, right, big homie?" I was like, "I know for a fact you got the memorandum of contract signed." And his head dropped. He was like, "Oh." I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, that's not possible. You didn't get the memorandum signed? It's on my YouTube channel, y'all. We was doing an interview." And he's like, "No, I didn't, man." He's like, these people actually go to my church. The people go to his church, y'all, that tried to beat him. And he's like, they go to my church, you know, we're in church together every Sunday. So I'm not going to sign the memorandum of contract. We don't need to do that. You know, this is what he's telling himself. And then lo and behold, man, they want to back out of the deal. They don't want to sell the house anymore because they feel like they can get more money somewhere else. Well, if that's the case, then why did you guys go under contract? You know what I mean? So he's like, "Man, I'm taking them to court. I put money into this. I've put time and effort into this. So, hey, let's go. Let's go." For those of you guys just joining me, my name's Gene Boykin, founder of the GoGetter Family. I'm talking tonight about deal insurance, ensuring that your deal does not get stolen from up under you. It's our memorandum of contract. And for Memorial Day, I'm giving you guys that document for free. It's in the description of the video. All right, there's a link. Click that link, put your name, your email address in. We'll email it to you. I see there's some people trying to get it right now. I just shared it with somebody. So we got you. Um, so that document, man, paperwork. The paperwork is your most powerful tool, guys. So understanding your contracts, all of them, at least how they work, it is going to get you to the top. It's going to make you more powerful, man, in this situation. And when you're out here doing this, you got to protect yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, feel like I brought you some value, don't forget to subscribe. So let's see what we got here. Nick Bravo says, "How does one determine the fee?" So that is a great question. There is no equation for it, really. What you base it off of, honestly, is one, how much time and effort had you put in once you got that purchase agreement signed, and then how much money have you put into this deal, right? Whether you went out and bought materials, or whether you spent money on advertising and marketing this property or the contract. So you calculate that in, and then what about your pain and suffering, right? But on top of that, what's going to make sure, because that deed will be clouded forever with that memorandum of contract on there until you release it. So it cannot be sold without going through you. So you can base that amount off of the circumstances. The buyer, what do they got going on now? Right? What do they got going on? So have they already sold their house and now they're expecting to move into this new house and there's deadlines to meet? Because really what it's doing is it's holding the seller's feet to the fire now for being unscrupulous. So you determine it based off of that. That's why one of my mentors got 7,000, then another one of my colleagues got a $30,000, and then based off of the value of the house and how much profit they're going to make. So you want to ask the title company, right? You ask the title company what the margins are on it. What are the margins? So now my mentor, the big homie, the originator of this shit, the my mentor actually created this document, and wholesalers and real estate investors around the country use this document now. And one of my mentors is the one who invented it. So what he does is, whoever the investor is, right? Whoever the investor is, he splits the profit with them. That's it. 50-50. 50-50. So if you just want to use that equation, Nick, hey. And when you ask a question, guys, put where you're from on there. I like to know where you guys are from. Um, I'm a small town Iowa boy, man. I want to know who's all out watching, man, where you guys are from. Charles is from North Carolina. He's one of the members, one of the good members. Charles, we got some goodies for you too, man. You click that link. I got some other Memorial Day specials, man. All of my courses, my old webinar recordings, I'm giving them to you guys for 50% off, man. For 50% off. That's only going to last until the end of Memorial Day, man. Everything is 50% off. So when do you draw the line? Because I know people that is using that scummy tactic to get money. So what do you mean? Elaborate on that though, because and that's the thing. This is why wholesaling is being outlawed because of stuff like Charles is talking about, man. And then they're backing out of deals too when they can't find a buyer. So it really can't be a scummy tactic because your seller had to have signed a purchase agreement with you. They signed a purchase agreement with you, and then they signed that document. They signed the memorandum. So they've already agreed to sell this house. So the only way that you're going to be using that memorandum is because they tried to back out for whatever reason. Now, there are people without integrity out there. That's one thing about the Go-Getter family, man. We integrity, man. We rest on integrity. All right. Our names are worth more than gold and silver. All right. So there are people, man, who do need to back out for whatever reason, right? Maybe they were going to move, they got a job out of state, so they were going to move out of state, and their job fell through. So now they don't want to sell their house anymore. So an unscrupulous person would try to force them to sell their house. Now I can see if you spent some money and some time, you're going to have to recoup that, and you can negotiate that with your seller, right? But if a person doesn't want to sell me their house and they need to keep their house, I'm not going to force them to sell it. I'm going to tell them, hey, keep it, man. But I have that deed clouded. So when they do go to sell that property, they got to come talk to me. They got to come talk to me. So if you're going to listen, if you're going to sell me that property and you need to back out of that deal and you need to keep that house, cool, you can keep it. But next time you go to sell it, I should be the first person you called because we were already under contract. So if I'm not the first person you called, I'm going to get a call regardless, right? Because I've still got that deed clouded. So, mhm, that's sad. That's a sad truth, Nick. Sad, sad truth, man. When they don't have nothing invested into the property, they cloud the title. Yeah, I mean, they got some time invested, I guess. That's about it. If they haven't put any money in or anything like that. But you got to remember, Charles, they still went under contract. That seller still agreed with that person. You know what I mean? So again, my thing is if they don't need to sell it, if they don't want to sell it anymore, don't force them to sell it. But if it's 10 years down the road and now they want to sell this house, well, damn it, I still want to buy it. You know what I mean? I still want to buy that thing. So that's it. How long do you have to get it recorded? Shit. I mean, you can record that thing. See, we've got in the inner circle, Trent. I've got another document for you guys that actually is more powerful than the memorandum. Um, and then there's another affidavit that you can do even after you've got. So there is no time schedule, but you've got to do it before that deed has been transferred. Once that deed has been transferred, it's over with for you. I mean, you can go to court, take them to court, you know what I mean? But that's gonna, cost you a bunch of money and be years. So you got to do it before that deed is transferred. So even if you sign the purchase and sale agreement, sign that purchase and sale agreement, and then you haven't recorded that memorandum of contract, and it's 2 weeks later, man, and you don't close for another 2 weeks, you can still record that document as long as it's signed and notarized by both of you guys. You have time to record it, man. But me personally, dude, I don't play no games. So if it's late in the day when I got some documents signed and notarized and I can't get down to the courthouse, I won't record them that day. But you better believe it. You better believe it. I'm gonna be down there the next morning, damn near as soon as they open, recording my documents, man. I just always do that. Better safe than sorry, you know what I mean? Yeah, what your profit would have been, I think he's saying. I would say base the fee off of what your profit would have been. Yeah, Yeah, you can too. Absolutely. I mean, you planned on profiting, you ran the numbers, you did an analysis on that property. So you knew what your projected profits were going to be. So you can absolutely base it off of that. That's actually a good measuring point. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, yeah. Your prospective amount. Yep, yep. Your estimated profits, your ESP, estimated selling price. The tactic is they go to the seller with a number that's not reasonable and don't have a deal, and then they cloud the title. That's not legal, man. I mean, that's not legal. They're like breaking the law. If the seller doesn't want to sell a person their house, they can't cloud that title. Like they can't say, "Oh, you don't want to sell me your house? All right, I'm gonna go down here and just cloud this title, and I'm gonna force you to sell it." That's illegal, man. So yeah, I wouldn't even, you know what I mean? People that are doing that, that's why, again, that's why wholesalers have bad names. You know what I mean? Because of, situations similar to that. So, man, you guys came through tonight, man. It's getting pretty late. So I'm gonna get up out of here. But again, I appreciate you guys joining me, and that document, the deal insurance document, there's a link in the description for those that are just popping in. Link in the description of the video where you can download that. You can download, well, we'll actually email it to you. So you just put in your name, your email address, and as soon as that's done, boom, we shoot you an email. You've got that memorandum of contract, that deal insurance, man. And I use this on every deal, man. I couldn't believe it when my mentor said that he didn't get that document signed. We have a document packet where it's just we get particular documents signed every time. Doesn't matter who it is, man. I wouldn't give a shit if it was my god dang it mama damn near. Like getting everything signed that needs to be signed, man. Like it just that really too, it's professional integrity. As a professional, you got a duty to do things the right way, right? You've got a duty to do things the right way. And when you operate the right way, then hey, things are going to turn out well for you because you're always crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Always. Those small details matter, man. Those small details matter. He said that's the game. Get the signature and hold the title hostage. So, really see a situation like that, especially if they're in your market, Charles, the people that are doing that shit, that's actually going to put you in a better spot if you're moving in integrity, if you're operating in integrity, because our reputations, man, our reputation, it needs to be protected with our life. And if you're out there doing scumbag shit, it's gonna come back to bite you. You know what I mean? And you might make a little bit of money doing scumbag shit. You might, but it's nothing that is sustainable. That's the whole thing. It's nothing that's sustainable. So my man said, I got a sick setup. What you mean that background? You talking about that background, homie? Yeah, yeah. Hey. You should see where I started. You should see where I started and where I got to, man. My shit now, it looks dope in the background, dog. I just put some time, money, and all that into it. But where I started, what? Man, my shit was plain, man. It was bogus as hell, man. I look back now and I'm kind of embarrassed for but shit, that's the thing, man. Even with real estate investing, right? This is why I say truth is universal. My homie says I got a sick setup, man, in the background and shit. And I do, you know what I mean? Like shit, I appreciate that compliment too, man. I do, because I put some work into it. But when I started, man, I didn't have shit, bro. I was sitting in a chair with my laptop in front of me, and sometimes I'd have a dry erase board behind me going over shit, man. It's the same thing with real estate, man, right? You don't wake up knowing this shit and being an expert at it, but you put in work, and over time, you get better. It is persistence. That's what got me that background back there. Persistence, man. Persistence. And man, I'm persistent in them. Yeah, hey, I've been going hard, man. I've been going super hard, man. That's what it's about. If you want something, you can make it happen. The kryptonite to obstacles is persistence. If you just keep getting back up, man, you will not stop until you reach your goal. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So did you check your email, man? Nick, Let me see. I do have to share it with you still. Once it goes to your email, you should have got an email because I did it twice before I got on here. But let me get y'all hooked up that have done it. So it is a Google Doc, and I do have to share that with you. Boom. Oh, I see Charles got it. All right. Oh, I see you, man. You should have it now, Nick. You still haven't said where you from, Nick. Dang. Oh, you got it. Nick. Okay. See, you got on here talking about that you didn't get it says Google Docs and all. Well, where you from, man? Nah, where you from? Shit. Nah. You show me some love now. I showed y'all some love. Show me some love. Where you from? Oh, I was just giving you a hard time, man. But persistence, guys. Persistence. I'm out now. I'm marketing in Vegas, Las Vegas to buy houses, and then also in Denver, Colorado. And I'm in lowly, man, Sioux City, Iowa. Okay, Nick's from Nebraska. Shit, you're right next. I'm right next to Nebraska, man. I live in Sioux City, Iowa. So there's right across the bridge. It's South Sioux City, Nebraska, man. All right. I love that, man. I love that. They actually, I just did a video today with a new mentorship student, man, a one-on-one student, and his dad's actually my godfather, man. He lives in Omaha. He's done a few fix and flips. He works for a wholesale. Well, he owns his own business. He's just working for this wholesaling company as an acquisitions manager to kind of learn. He doesn't even need the money, but he just signed on today, man. So we're going to be operating out of Omaha, Nebraska, too, man, buying some houses. Absolutely. I'm glad that I got on here tonight. I'm glad that you guys, man, I appreciate you guys coming on here supporting me, listening to the game that I'm kicking to you guys. And I hope that I continually am able to bring you value, open your guys' eyes to some knowledge, because they hold this knowledge behind the veil. You know what I mean? They don't want us to know about these things because we do have power in these situations. All right. But when you know the rules of the game, you can play that game to win. You can play that game to win. So with all that said, guys, I got to get up out of here. If you're new to the channel, again, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing if you feel like I brought you some value. And again, I thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a good Memorial Day weekend. I want to say thank you to our military, man, our armed services, for your guys' service, your guys' bravery, man. Matter of fact, Trent, man, hey, appreciate you, big homie. Appreciate you, man. You guys are out there fighting for us, man, sacrificing a lot. So, I try to just help wherever I can, man, with whatever I can, if I'm able to. That's my little way of giving back. So until then, guys, I got to get up out of here. But until next time, let's get to it, y'all.
I'm a go-getter. They some go-getters.